Bit about this. How worried should you be about the so-called pink slime in your hamburger? And should we even be using that term? In a simple definition, what we're talking about is a beef filler. It's often mixed with regular ground beef, and this week, the sole company that makes it was temporarily put out of production at most of its plants after a lot of criticism over this ingredient. Now, leaders of at least 4 states are planning to tour the only plant still in operation and producing it as a sign of support. So what is the deal here? Is this filler safe to eat or not? Janet Riley is the Senior Vice President for Public Affairs at the American Meat Institute, and Dr. Kathleen London is a family practice physician joining us as well. So first, Janet, inside the industry, what is this?
Well, first of all, this is not filler, this is beef. We use a machine to separate lean beef from fat, and it helps us prevent waste. And it is a safe process that's called lean, finely textured beef. And what's happened over the last several weeks in the media and in the social media space is really a travesty, because it is a safe product that's nutritionally equal to ground beef. And it is inspected and regulated by USDA, and they also purchase it for their school lunch program.
Within the industry, is it only used for ground beef, or is this lean, finely textured beef found in other items?
It's primarily used for ground beef. It could be used in some other processed products. But the bottom line is that its safety and nutrition are without question.
Dr. London, I got a lot of responses on Twitter over this. Folks have said, listen, we've been eating our hamburgers for years. We haven't gotten sick, and this is much to do about nothing. What's your opinion on this as a medical professional?
It's not on the label. Where are the studies on this? You know, these are scraps. Let's call it what it is. This is stuff that used to just be put in pet food, not fit for human consumption, banned in England, that then is slightly heated so they can do that separation process, which increases the pathogens in what's left over. Then they have to add the ammonium hydroxide cleaning fluid so that they can sterilize it or disinfect it. And ammonia is a waste product in our bodies. It's what makes urine smell. It's what's in cleaning fluid. It is noxious to us. If it's so safe, I want to see the studies, not do an experiment on my children. Processing in our food industry, and this is just one example, is an issue. We have an obesity epidemic that probably can be partly blamed on what we're doing to our food supply, how we feed our animals, what we give them in terms of additives, and processing like this.
Well, Janet, let me get you to jump in, because there was a lot there to work through from Dr. London. And just, I mean, the parts about it, you know, not being allowed in England, that this is actually a chemical that's being treated. I mean, that's concern for anyone that's going to the supermarket. So, you know, how do you view that?
Let me try to address those issues. Dr. London, I'm sure you're a wonderful doctor, but it's clear to me you've never been in a meat plant, and I'd be happy to try to arrange that. And if you had been, what you would see is wholesome cuts of beef. We raise the temperature slightly, that's true, and then it's quickly frozen after we separate the fat, and we end up with a leaner product, which I think is what we all want. And this has been approved as, it's generally recognized as safe, and it has been for decades by the Food and Drug Administration and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I'm a mother too, and my son today will eat from the school lunch program, and I feel absolutely confident, and other consumers should too. It's really unfortunate that this kind of misinformation is being circulated. These are not scraps. These are wholesome cuts.
What about the point that the doctor makes about the ingredient on the label? Is that something that maybe the meat industry, in your opinion, should move towards, just so parents know if it's in the meat, or in your opinion, is it really not, it's just part of the product, the final product?
Sure, a lot of questions have come up about that. The first, let me just say, this is beef, and so it is on the label, but the bottom line is we're using a machine to separate meat and fat. When we get milk, in the old days we used to hand milk it, but today we use a machine to get milk from cows, but we still call it milk. We don't call it machine milked milk. This is beef, and we don't call it machine removed beef. It's just beef. That is what it ends up being, and it is nutritionally equal, and it is safe.
Dr. London, would you speak directly to our viewers? Because I'm getting two different trends when we put out a question on this. One is a trend that people say, listen, I'm not going to eat beef. I'm actually going to go to a different item like turkey. And then the other says, well, no one's gotten sick from this. And it must be safe because no one's gotten sick from that. So if you could speak directly to our viewers on this, what's your opinion on that?
You know, I definitely hold by the opinion that our food should have the fewest steps from the ground to your table. So as far as I'm concerned, the less processing, the better. I'm a believer in going for grass-fed beef and going for ones that don't have growth hormones, that don't have antibiotics added to them, because we're seeing so many effects of that, from antibiotic resistance to, we don't know the cause of our obesity epidemic. It's not just that people have gotten lazy. And we do know that our body responds differently. Put it on the label.
Well,
let me make an informed choice.
And Janet, just
If you're
really
concerned
quick,
about-
Janet, real quick final point. If you see hamburger that has organic on it, does it still include this?
Lean, finely textured beef is not included in organic products.
Okay.
But if Dr. London is concerned about obesity, this is a product that results in a 95% lean beef product.
Well, that's
what we want.
It's a completely different conversation. We're more than happy to have it about some of the nutritional value of beef in general. We'll have you both back for it. In fact, I'll go on that tour as well, because I'd like to see a beef processing plant.
Absolutely.
Why
We'd love
not?
to have you.
You know, Janet, thank you so much for coming here and representing the industry. And Dr. London, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you.